Today I want to talk about how waiting for inspiration is killing your songwriting, and what do I mean by that? I think we like to draw this image like you're sitting by the windowsill and the rain is pouring and you're watching the rain pour, and that's how you suddenly get your inspiration for a song. And I think that is not at all how it works. I feel like there are so many different ways how to still know what to write about, even if you're uninspired or you have writer's block. So here are my 5 go-to steps or tips, what I like to do whenever I want to write a song, where I get my ideas from and my inspiration. First of all, hi, my name is Indigow. I'm a singer and songwriter myself, and I just started this YouTube channel. Yes, you heard me right. This is my first video on this channel. And I'm so excited about this because this channel is going to be all about songwriting. So if you're an independent artist, if you want to become an independent artist, or if you're just a songwriter or you want to get into songwriting, whatever it is, this channel is 100% for you. I do have so much planned for the future. I'm so excited to start. And yeah, let's get straight into this video. The first thing I believe every songwriter should do is go through life and treat it like a movie. Be very aware of your surroundings, of your life, of whatever is happening. People like to think you need to write about something huge that happened in your life, like a breakup. And of course you can write a song about a breakup, but sometimes it's only like minor moments in your life that another person would have not even paid attention to, that you can take and write an amazing song about. And that is exactly the example with the Te Amo text. I was not in contact with this guy anymore, and usually I would have not cared. Like, maybe I would have sent a screenshot to my friend and been like, look who texted me, like, what should I do now? And then the next morning I would have been like, oh, you know, he was just drunk, whatever, I'm gonna ignore it. But I decided to write a song about it and get into my emotions. Like, what is this doing to me? How do I feel about the situation? And I really like the outcome. You can actually listen to the song on Spotify if you're interested. There's also the lyrics on there. I feel like you just have to be so aware what is happening and also be so aware of your own feelings. Like, how does this certain situation make me feel? Why do I feel a certain way about it? And write it down. Write it down whenever you can. And that leads us immediately to step 2, which is write a journal. I think people who like songwriting also like to write in general, and growing up I wrote a lot. Let me show you my journals for a second. This is my most recent diary/journal, and I feel like this has helped me so much in songwriting. First of all, it is also a way to process your emotions, but on the other hand, what you're doing is collecting feelings and collecting memories. And sometimes I write down things I even forget about. And those small things, like in 6 months, I read about it, and that can be something I can turn into a song later. Because I'm like, okay, how do I actually view this from my perspective now? So much changed, 6 months passed, and now I view this way differently. I'm at another path, you know, and I can now like write about this from a whole other perspective. And I feel like that makes things so interesting. So writing a journal is a way of actually collecting the memories and not forgetting about stuff. Remember when I said that I'm so aware of my surroundings and I try to be so like present in my all-day life? I feel like this is not only about like what is happening around me, I think that is also about what other people say. So my next step is listening to what people in your environment say. Sometimes people say things and that stops me. I'm like, wait, what did you just say? I can turn it into a song. And I think this is not only about people in your environment, this is also about podcasts. I love listening to podcasts. I even love listening to inspirational podcasts. I think listening is so important. Listening to what the people in your environment say, about what people on social media say. Anywhere where you can listen to people, do it. Listen as much as you can. Because that could be your lyrics, literally right there. I recently watched a Charlie Puth interview, and he talked about how his lyrics are very often conversational, that he just picks up phrases from whatever other people say and then literally takes the exact thing the person said and puts it into a song. And ever since he said that, I looked at his song titles and I analyzed his lyrics a bit, and I was like, holy that's actually so true. So obviously this whole listening to other people also means listening to other songs and listening to other songwriters, because those can be the biggest inspiration. The example I just gave you, that I listen to whatever Charlie Puth is saying about his songs, that's just me getting inspired by him and being like, oh wait, I can try that too. And it's not about copying. Like, I don't say take exact lyrics or try to recreate whatever the person is doing. Don't. But analyze it. Look at it, like other songwriters and other artists are not your enemies. They're literally your inspiration. They can teach you so much about songwriting and inspire you to try new things. And I used to back then always believe, like, when I write a song, I have to publish it and it has to be for the public, so it can be this or it can be that. And I think that's not true at all. You can write so many songs and just don't publish them just for the sake of practicing songwriting or just for the sake of processing your emotions, because writing songs is therapy. You don't have to publish every single song, so just write whatever you want, and then afterwards you can still decide if this is a song you want to put out into the world or not. Let's go to the next step, which is writing for a person. And that is treating songs as a letter, and I personally love doing that. Actually, I always address the songs to a specific person, but I really love the idea whenever I write to imagine that this specific person I'm writing about is reading my song lyrics like a letter. I just like to imagine that the person is reading this right now, listening right now, and then I'm like, okay, I really get into my feelings, and I'm like, what do I love about this person? What do I appreciate about them? Or on the other hand, you can also be like, what do I hate about this person? You just treat it like a letter, and I think that works so well, and you can always do this. Even if you're like extremely uninspired, think about a person you would want to write a song for. Maybe it's your partner. Maybe it's a friend. Maybe it's even a person you hate at work, and I think that always works. I love that. I just want to mention real quick in between that everything I'm saying, like all the steps I'm mentioning, are more to figure out what to write about, like lyrics-wise. If you want a separate video where I'm going to tell you about how to find melodies for your lyrics, I can obviously do a video about that as well. But all of this is more about lyrics and not about the melodic part of songwriting, just so you know, little disclaimer. Last but not least, what I really love to do is take only a single word and build a song around it. And what do I mean by that? I think that if you listen to the people in your environment, if you listen to other songs, other artists, you can find words that inspire you. I do have a very great example because Zayn just put out his newest album, and one of the songs is called Side Effects. And yesterday I drove to work in my car and I listened to the album, and I was like, I don't know the exact lyric, but it was something like the side effects of loving me. And it inspired me so much. And literally I thought about taking this and putting it into a song and being like, okay, side effects. What can you do with side effects? That's so inspiring. Like, maybe I put it into a completely different context and it's like the side effects of loving you. And I can make a whole song about this. And that's not copying. It's not like I'm taking his idea and using it as mine. I feel like I just got inspired by those words and decided to write a whole different thing about it, because literally with one word you can take this word and put it into so many different contexts. That's just a great way to start. So just think about it. Think about, like, read books and then find certain words that inspire you. Listen to other songs and find phrases that you like, or even song titles of other people, and just build your own song around it. And that's how you can start. I feel like just starting with one word is such a great way to write. And maybe when you start writing, you even realize that you can build something that actually applies to your life. But obviously songwriting doesn't mean that it always has to be about your own life. Like, you can build hypothetical scenarios, you can come up with things that are not true at all. I feel like it fully depends on the songwriter themselves, if they prefer writing about things that actually happened, or if they just like to come up with random stuff. Me personally, I like to do both. I like to come up with scenarios that are just like made up. And I also love to write about stuff that actually happened. And I feel like it's a great skill to be able to do both. So these were all my 5 steps on how I always come up with ideas for my songs, and how I do not have to sit by a windowsill and watch rain so that inspiration can suddenly hit me. Let me know in the comments if any of this was helpful to you. And Obviously, don't forget to follow me if you don't want to miss anything about my songwriting videos. I will try to upload regularly weekly on this channel from now on. And if you're interested, you can check out my music. My latest release, Solar System, is out now. Yeah, see you in my next video. Bye!